Hi, I'm Crystal, and I'm going to be showing you how to do this one problem on phylogenetic trees. And this problem actually came up, this is an essay question that came up in the 2009 exam, and it also came up, a similar question came up recently on the test that I just took, which was the 2014 AP Biology exam as well. So why don't we take a look and explain how you do these problems. So the question says that they gave you a table and they're asking you to draw a phylogenetic tree based on the table. And this table basically tells you the genetic relationship of 5 different organisms, and these numbers here tell you the amount of differences in the cytochrome C between the different animals. So obviously the horse would have 0 differences in terms of genetics in the cytochrome C with the horse because they're the same species. So if you look at, based on looking at this, they want you to draw a phylogenetic tree. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. 5 spaces for the 5 different organisms. Okay, and because the snake has the most amount of differences, if you look compared to in comparison with every single organism, the snake has 17 differences with the penguin, 18 differences with the chicken, 20 differences with the donkey, and 21 differences with the horse. It's obvious that this one is least related to all the other ones, so that's why it must have had an ancestor that is extremely old and is not as closely related as these other organisms are to each other. So therefore the snake should go in the farthest branch with the common ancestor going the farthest back, so that's why the snake should go here. Okay, so after figuring out the snake, in order to figure out where the other organisms go, we also need to look in comparison. So because the penguin and the chicken have only 3 differences, it's implied that the penguin and the chicken are really closely related because they only have 3 differences. So that means that they should be on the same branch, relatively to the same branch, especially closer than the penguin is to the donkey or to the horse, because the penguin has about 12 differences with the donkey and 13 differences with the horse. So that implies that the penguin and chicken should be on the same branch. And also the fact that the chicken has 11 differences with the horse and 10 differences with the donkey, which is about the same amount of differences as the penguin has with the horse and donkey, shows that the penguin and chicken are pretty much pretty related. So I'm going to put these here. Okay. Okay, and in these 2 spaces, because the donkey and the horse only have 1 difference, it's implied that very few genetic differences in the cytochrome C amino acid, then the horse and donkey should have the most recent common ancestor, which would be right here at this point of divergence. So the horse and donkey could go here. And that's how you do the first part of the question to draw the phylogenetic tree. Okay, so this is actually the rubric of the problem that I just did. And if you don't recall, this is my answer that we came up with. And it's extremely similar to what you get points for. So there's 4 points maximum for this essay. So you can get 1 point for the tree. And just by looking at this tree, it says that as long as the order is relatively correct, then it's fine. As in, for example, this donkey and horse, because there's very little difference between them, they're pretty much interchangeable between these 2 branches. So it could go either snake, penguin, chicken, donkey, horse, or snake, penguin, chicken, horse, donkey. Either way, you should be able to get that first point just by acknowledging the fact that the snake has the most amount of differences with all the other animals. So okay, if you look over here, in terms of the explanation part, because they want you to explain the relationships of the organisms and to identify which organism is the most closely related to the chicken, we basically have to go back to the reasoning I was using earlier. So earlier, the reason why I said that the snake goes here is because it has the most amount of genetic differences in the amino acid sequence for cytochrome C, and that's one of the reasons why it's over here. And then they give you a point for saying that the more differences in amino acids of cytochrome C, the less closely related. So just by explaining that, you'd be getting 1 point. And then by saying that the penguin is most related to the chicken, you can get that point by saying that the penguin is most closely related to the chicken because there are only 3 differences in the number of amino acids in the cytochrome C between the chicken and the penguin. So you could get a point for that. And then the final point that you can get is by saying that the 3 amino acids differ between penguin and chicken, between the penguin and the chicken, and has the fewest differences from the chicken. That's what I was explaining earlier by mentioning the 3.
Together, it's hard to trace them back. Put them on a Phylogeny tree and use the program blast.
Phylogeny trees have taxa, which are groups of species. They had a common ancestor till they had to divide. Tired of staying the same, the organisms changed. Time for us to get those A's. La 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 la. Hey bio, I really think you're crazy. La 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 la. Hey bio, I really think you're crazy. When you read a cladogram, look at where 2 species split. It tells where there's an ancestor and if they're related.
Compare DNA sequences of common protein shared. Hemoglobin, collagen, the base pairs. Tired of staying the same, the organisms changed. Time for us to get those A's. La 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 la. Hey bio, I really think you're crazy. La 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 la. Hey bio, I really think you're crazy. Just need my genome history, though they don't evolve steadily. It's a molecular clock that's sometimes wrong. Maximum parsimony improves our accuracy in making our trees. Simplicity.
La
La la la la la la. Hey bio, I really think you're crazy. La 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 la. Hey bio, I really think you're crazy. La 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 la. Hey bio, I really think you're crazy. La 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 la. Hey bio, I really think you're crazy.